Hello there, and good evening, everyone, to the finale of the GPU Formula 3 European Series of 2022. And as you can see, our broadcast for this entire series has been sponsored by 3D Wrap, as well as Sadler Computers. I hope you're all well. It's great to be back in the commentary box this evening, especially for this title showdown. I'm David Carter. Alongside me in the camera booth, we got Heigo booth new cameras. I'm running solo here tonight, so you have to bear with me a little bit. But it's been a brilliant season of action, and I say we are at the Norisring in Germany here this evening. 29 laps of action, 2 races, of course, and we're going to have some really tight, really close racing here, as we have had all season long. Qualifying will just be about to start in a few moments' time. I hope you're keeping well on this Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, Ewan Gale is not here with me this evening. I'll actually give him a little gift, which he tried out and sat on, but unfortunately, he's not being able to make it. He's still recovering a little bit from that. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Ewan, on this Valentine's Day as well. But qualifying will just be about to start in a few minutes' time. Title decider tonight is out of Tom Stevens of Nocturne and Chris Butcher of THR here this evening. As I say, championship standings you'll hopefully see some point in a few moments' time. But I say we're just going to go into qualifying first of all. They're just going to go on out of the pits, doing their first laps on track. So I'll read you out the championship stuff and the situations that may happen across the evening, but it's going to be mighty tight. Tom Stevens currently leading the championship and also top in practice there. The order you see on the leaderboard there is actually the practice results as well. So Tom Stevens there was ahead of practice, ahead of race 1 winner last time at Dan Brewer as well, to take Stack's first win of the season as well. As we go around a very quick lap here around the Norisring breaking point just after the 100 meter board there, as Tom Stevens gets a really good slide late apex drive out of the corner there. Actually, hairpin bend there taken normally in first gear, and then we go through this very bumpy approach into the right left chicane here. As you can see, you get really close to the walls, and even too close to the walls there, as Tom Stevens has done. Hopefully he'll get back to the pits nice and quickly. Here we are, Dan Brewer actually take us through the rest of the lap here. So we are nice. Let's go first gear right there, but again really tight to the wall there. A bit of a left-hand kink, and that's the lap of Norisring. You'll see the lap times will be really close, around sort of the 45-second mark you're going to see here this evening. A bit longer than that actually, as you see there, Brewer there, first lap on the board, 47.999. But Luke Maguire there, instantly beating that straight off. It's a private qualifying session here we're doing this evening, so you won't see sort of slipstreaming or anything like that, or anyone getting held up in this particular qualifying. Stewards decided it was best to do this a private session, which I, to be fair, totally agree with on this occasion. We've seen that Bradley Sellers there for the Sim Apex RT as well. He's again scored a few points this season. I remember the performance in Austria being a particular highlight of his. A couple of new drivers in for this particular round as well, for the final championship round. We've got Ryan Elliott on track as well, blistering fast driver I've known for a number of years. He is driving for Epic, and we've also got Sven de Vries as well for this final round. He is driving for Valley Esports alongside the team boss Massimiliano Riboli as well. I believe we've also got Remco de Zeu, actually. He's in at Sim Apex RT alongside Bradley Fellers as well. And I think there's a team that was out last time out as well, was VMS Sun Edits Racing. That's a bit of a mouthful for me, I must admit. Two drivers there, Milan Court in car number 87, the Dutchman, and also Vincent Gutt, the German, in car number 96. 11 minutes 40 to go in this qualified session there. Lewis Bickers there, top of the timesheet, so the Butcher, Maguire, the 2 THR cars there. Sven Gilhode, who's always been looking pretty good this season, P4, Brewer As there we see Ryan Elliott jumping right up. Stefan Rill also has come in recently into the championship P4 there as well. You're going to see, honestly, it's going to be thousandths of a second separating drivers around here. It's not going to be tenths. You probably see about 1 second probably covering the first 20 cars by the end of this qualifying session. So we see now Luke Maguire, purple in sector 1, gets it nice and tight onto the apex there, gets a good exit out of the corner. Didn't set a particularly good second sector. Very easy to lose time around this circuit because you just get that apex slightly wrong and you lose a couple of tenths. But there are purple sector 3 as well, and he takes provisional pole at 47.5. I can see that lap time maybe going down by a couple of tenths or so. By the end of the session, we see Tom Stevens moving up to 8th ahead of Alex Lehoux. I know he's always a fan's favourite in this particular championship. He's also ahead of Moritz Kropp, Sonnevel, Clont Sellers, Valestra and Guillaume Branton rounding up the top 15 for the time being as well. I'll just run you through the championship standings as we've got a bit of a lull moment here, a bit of a dull moment. So Tom Stevens leads the championship over Chris Butcher by 26 points. If Tom Stevens, all he has to do in race 1 is finish 3rd and he's confirmed the championship no matter what Chris Butcher does. Dan Brewer also in P3 on 102 points but out of the championship running, but could still overtake Chris Butcher here in this final round. And then we've got Gerhard, Kropp, Maguire, Bickers, Meunier, Waring even only doing 1 round is in P9, and Peter Vagapov, who did not take part in Zandvoort and he's not here today either. He's running at top 10 ahead of still technically reigning champion Menno Clont as well. Just seeing Guillaume Brunson binned it in the wall as well. He's just told me that he's had a little bit of an incident, which we didn't catch on camera sadly there. But now we've got Dan Bruton setting 2 personal best sectors there in sector 1 and 2. He's going to come across the line now. If he improves by about a tenth, he'll go up 3 places there to 5th, so he should gain a few positions here. I think he will. And there he is, purple foot sector 3 up to 5th position, just behind Tom Stevens, who's moved up to 4th place as well. Well, I was received that team's championship. Really, you couldn't get tight. You couldn't put paper between them, between THR and Nocturne. Nocturne ahead on race victories. But they are level on points. Nocturne ahead of THR. Stax Racing is 42 points behind in 3rd, and them 3 teams have really dominated the championship. Stax have actually got double the points ahead of the next team, Mazunda Motorsports. And 2 teams who've not scored any points this season so far, at least, is GT Omega and Team Year One. Still no points for them teams. So it'd be embarrassing really if you just ended with no points and it's not worth turning up, you could say. But yeah, hopefully they can, particularly in the hands of Dean Vella here, we'll hopefully get maybe a point or 2. And a track like this as well, a lot of carnage seems to happen. You might have watched races in real life, for example, where you always see incidents at the hairpins, for example. And say a lot could happen here if people get a little bit too aggressive, but we'll find out as time goes on. And say Luke Maguire with 7.5 minutes to go, still top of the standings. By the way, the top 5 drivers of the championship will get a discount code for our partner and sponsor 3D Wrap in various levels of discount you get, which is great to see. And also the winning team will get a prize from GPU as well, a little prize, little gift from them as well. So all to play for still, particularly even if you're fighting for the 3rd, 4th or 5th in the championship, you still got something to play for, which is great to see. Obviously 3D Wrap, fantastic products, obviously really top quality kit they offer. I've seen a few of the pieces myself and they are really impressive to look at and to use as well. We're just on board again with Dean Villa, currently in 28th, looking to improve by considerable margin here, which he does, and he puts it up to 24th ahead of Miran and Court there in the standings as well. Now on board now with Bickers here in the wonderful looking Stax livery. They say Bickers and Brewer have always been a really good combination, you know. Actually got a lorry load of points last time out. Obviously Brewer getting the most points with a first and a second out in Zandvoort last time out. Here comes Bickers now across the line. Don't think it's going to improve it. No, it's not. But you just see the bumps actually on the wheel. You can see how much, particularly the guys who run very high force feedback on their wheels, they're going to be really feeling every bump, particularly in the braking zones. Especially here, you just feel the bump, bump, bump. There we go, and another one, and another one as they go into the apex there. So they've really got to work hard around here. And 29 laps around a track like this is going to be really intense, as it's going to feel a real long slog for every lap that goes by, and especially as the tyres wear away as well. Very easy to make a mistake under power as well. I've just noticed as well, Alex Heigo up into 6th position ahead of Stefan Ruel and Sven Geelhode as well. Ryan Elliott up in 9th position. I've not seen Sven de Vries yet, and it's quite surprising because he is a man of incredible talent. Both Ryan Elliott and Sven de Vries actually both raced in real life as well in different series, but both got real racing backgrounds as well, so that might help them out a little bit just to get up to speed as well. There's Sven de Vries up to 12th position there behind Massimiliano Riboli, who's going to be his teammate for this evening. It never takes Sven long to get up to speed in these cars. He's one of those you can sort of get 10 laps in and he's sort of like on pace as well. Also, for those who are new to the Series Championship as well, the results of race 1, the top 8 will get reversed into like reverse grid pole, for example. So 8th place will start from pole position, if I remember correctly. Well, actually, is it 12? One or two, 8th or 12th, I can't remember. But yeah, there's a reverse grid anyway in here as well. Sven de Vries actually jumps ahead of Sven Vliet, and it is 12th position, I should say, not 8th. He jumps ahead of Valestra, jumps ahead of Riboli. Yeah, so top 12 it is for the reverse grid. But still Maguire stay ahead of Bickerson, Stevens and Butcher. Look at the top 4 separated by under a 10th. Oh, sorry, top 5 separated by under a 10th. Dan Brewer there as well. So you can just see how close it is, and even like the gap between 6th and 9th as well, that's separated by like 400ths of a second. Fantastic stuff. They're really close stuff, and the half a second separate into top 12 as well. So, and slipstream is a big factor around this circuit, so don't expect the leaders to be able to get away too far ahead in the early laps. You know, they would be really close, and especially if people start fighting and battling away, it's going to be difficult to get the gap from the people behind you. Here's Tom Stevens here, going to start another lap. He's now taken provisional pole actually. Breguet also, actually no, he didn't improve, but Stevens improved anyway to a 47.476 with 3 minutes to go. Track rubbering in nicely as well. Just see that sort of racing line developing on the track, particularly through these two corners here as Stevens hits the wall on the right. Is he going to make it a full house? No, he's not. He avoids the wall on the left. It's going to be a big confidence boost here, Tom Stevens, if he can walk away here with the championship this evening, which I think will be his first on R-Factor 2 as well. So that'd be really good stuff there for the young Englishman. Anyone going to be able to challenge the top 5? Because the top 5 are pretty much sort of together on track. Then you've got that sort of gap from Leiho downwards to, you know, and everyone really close behind. The top 24 cars now separated by less than a second. That just tells you everything, and it will get closer. It will get closer than that as well. Vincent Gutt now 17th in VMS Sun Edits Racing, and is he going to manage to improve his lap time here? No, he's not. Stays 17th. While it's Crop 2 personal best times. This is going to be, I think, maybe getting closer to the guys ahead. Yeah, he gets closer to the guys ahead, Ryan Elliott and Gerho, but no improvement in position. But actually gives himself a nice little cushion there to De Vries and Riboli as well, 11th and 12th. One minute 40 to go. You probably get about, well, you could get 3 laps in now if you was to start a lap now, actually. Maybe 2. And then when you are on track, and looking at Tom Stevens there, purple sector 1. This is going to be key. It's probably by thousandths of a second, but he has a great line actually on the exit of the chicane there on that left-hander. Riding the bumps nicely there. Not so great second sector there. 10.5 down, and he's going to get a wide line. Look at that cheeky wide line to get a great run onto the straight, start another lap with a minute to go in the last qualifying session of the season. For those also watching this, there's a special event in 2 weeks' time at Macau in these cars as well, and I know sign-up's going to go crazy, so feel free to check the information in the YouTube channel below. Sign up to go into the Discord, be able to sign up to the event as well on the Grand Prix United GPU Discord as well. So check in on that. I say expect a full grid of cars now. Be disappointed if you're free and you don't turn up to that. That's going to be one hell of an event to round up this season. But championship being decided tonight. Yeah, so we're on board now with Dan Brewer. Going to get a sort of middle of the run apex there. Not really an early apex or a late apex there, but gets a good run anyway. And he's just over a 10th behind Tom Stevens. But look at that, gains a 10th in the first sector. Look at that one. Immense first sector that is around a circuit like this. Checker flag now out of course. Seeing if anyone's going to improve on their time. Brewer there loses a little, he loses a lot there in sector 2, actually 3/10. Don't think it's going to be improvement in any way. Now here comes Brewer across the line anyway. He's still going for it, so he must feel like he might gain something out of this. No, still stays P3. I'll say Moritz Krop moves up into 6th position to make it a nocturne THR stacks 1 to 6. And someone has actually just left the server there as well. So Tisano there it is. Nikos Anastopoulos there, we can see now on track. I think he's actually just missed the flag in that wonderful looking Team Year 1 livery as well. It's been a season of trying for them. But it's a great livery nonetheless, and I think it's one of their first ventures into our Factor 2 actually, so they may have learned quite a bit in this championship. Anastopoulos going for it anyway. Look at the gap there, 6/10 down in the first sector alone. That's what a good setup, and we'll get you around here. Look at the understeer there, he must have outbraked himself there. It's quite a poor line actually. I think he's just, if he's sensible, he'll just pull over and escape, because that's not going to be improvement in a month of Sundays there. But Lloyd Munier actually just say there up into 12th position. But that is the end of the session there. So we got Stevens, Maguire, Brewer, Bickers, Butcher and Krop there. Lehos, Ruel, Gerhard and Elliott rounding up to 10 there. Our standings a little bit messed up as someone that actually escaped from the server. Just put a +1 next to these grid numbers. De Vries to be 11th, Rabodi 12th and so on and so forth. Munier Court there, 13th, 14th, and that's the top 20 there. There's an update of the standings, I think. Maybe not too sure. But it doesn't happen when someone leaves the server like that. But there we are. Menno Klomp there, reigning champion, 16th place against guys there he'd expect to be beaten. So I reckon he's going to be pretty disappointed with that. People like Kenneth Singleton likewise as well. Expect more from him and Vincent Gutt. But still only 7/10 behind pole. Now I think that's updated now. There we are. Hallows, Branton, Yativ, Tazano, Vela, Miram, Dezeu and Anastopoulos there rounding out the qualifying results. Obviously the grid might be mumbled jumbled up a little bit with all the penalties, of course. We'll go through that in a few moments. We're going to take a short break, let them do their warm-up and everything, and we'll see in a few moments' time. And we are back, everybody. Warm-up is now just finished, actually, there. Result of warm-up was Brewers from Bickers, from Gerpo, from Maguire, from Butcher, rounding up the top 5 there. As well, couple of penalties, grid penalties to go over as well. Itamar Yativ has a 5-place grid drop. I think he was towards the back anyway. And Loic Meunier has a 3-place grid penalty as well. He has to take. I think he's up sort of mid-pack, so it won't affect any of the front runners. And just to go over again, if Chris Butcher finishes outside the top 5, 5th or worse, Stevens is champion. Basically, if Butcher wins, Stevens has to finish 3rd. So Stevens is in a very strong position here to take the championship in the first race of this event. I say they're just about to be setting up the grid in a few moments' time as well. So put your predictions in chat. If you think who's going to take out this first race victory here this evening. I say it's going to be very tight, very difficult to predict this circuit because it's whoever's got like the low wings is going to have a big advantage going into particular turn 1 and up to the hairpin at the end of the lap as well. So it's going to be a slipstream fest, this one, and whoever's going to be bravest on the brakes. Some people have got nothing to lose at all. Don't forget, obviously, you've got people like Ryan Elliott, Sven de Vries coming into this round as well. They're not going to be afraid of pulling any punches. You know, they're going to be at it, trying to make their way up through the field, maybe thinking about race 2 a little bit as well. But let's see what's going to happen in these next few moments. I can say now that warm-up has finished, so the checkered flag is out. I think they're just sorting the grid out. We're going to have 28 cars on the grid. Look at that. That's like that. Daylight. Daylight, blue skies, and it's probably going to change in a couple of minutes to probably like grey, miserable weather in a second. But that's the joys of R-Factor 2 for you. 29 laps. Obviously 2 races coming up this evening. There we are, there's the greyness. Let's say cars now lining up on the grid. Obviously got a formation lap as well. These races are going to be quick, around about sort of 22, 23 minutes long. I'm going to predict for 29 laps around this circuit. And I say massive thanks also to 3D Wrap and Sadler Computers throughout this season as well for supporting us with the servers, the prizes as well, the giveaways, especially at 3D Wrap are doing as well. Top 5 in championship, don't forget, we'll get gift codes to use or discount codes to use on 3D Wrap's website for the large majority of their products. Before it all kicks off, I just want to say thank you to the admins behind the scenes. We've got Luca Tosano, we've got obviously Gail Branson as well. They're both on the grid this evening as well. Dan Hurt's been doing some work. I think Marco Furlich as well. Garrett de Vries, Heigo as well on cameras. You and Gail, of course, on commentary with me as well. So big thanks to those guys and everyone else behind the scenes putting in the hard work this season. But here is the grid. It's Nocturne and Tom Stevens on pole again from Luke Maguire with the 2 stacks cars there, 3rd and 4th. Butcher and Crop, Lehoux and Rowe out there rounding out the second part there, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th positions. Sven Goho from Mazumda, Ryan Elliott for Epic there, and then we've got 2 Valley Esports cars with De Vries and Raboli. They're running up their 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th positions. You've got Milan Court, Sam Viestra, Hai Sonovout and Loic Meunier after his grid drop there for 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th places. And guys, then the reigning champion Menno Klont, Vincent Guts, a good friend of his actually, they're 17th, 18th, Bradley Sellers in Sim Apex RT, 19th, Kenneth Singleton rounding out the top 20. Then we've got Hallows, Guillaume Branton, Dean Vella for GT Omega, and Luca Tosano there for Scuderia Frecanera. Bit of a mouthful for me, I must admit. Persis Miram, Brenko Dezeu, Nikos Anastopoulos, and Itamar Yativ rounding out this 28 car grid. As well, I have a feeling that 2 cars starting from the pit lane. Ryan Elliott is 1, he's starting from 10th, he's starting from the pit, which is a bit of a strange one. I must have missed the grid. Yativ starting from pit lane as well, and he's supposed to be 20th. Ryan Elliott he's going to have some work to do. He must have just missed the countdown to the grid, which is unfortunate for him. There you see the space there in P10, but the 5 lights let it out, and there's the green for go, and away they go there, and it's a great start there from P5 there. Looks like a bit of contact as well. They looked out with the THR car, but they're all running towards turn 1 now. And Stevens holds the lead there from Maguire. Round the hairpin for the first time. Everyone looks like they're getting around clean, which is great to see. I thought there might be at least one incident there, but no, they've all got through it into turn 2 and 3 as one of the THRs runs wide there. I think that's Butcher, and around the outside of him goes Dan Brewer as well in the stacked racing car, but falling now towards the end of the lap for the first time. Look how close it is. Carly's just going to be the nocturne there. That's Moritz crumpling a bit wide there. He might get mugged from the Mazunda Motorsports car. He holds in line. Here comes the slipstream. Here comes the fun. Because they're running in 5th. There's the overlay now on your screen. And you see exactly who is who and where on track. Bit of lag there. I can't quite see what's going on. There we go. It's back. And there's the gap there. Tom Stevens. 7/10 of a second there with Maguire already. And as it stands, he would be champion if it stays like this. It looks like a car who's had a bit of a rough start, just passing through start-finish line there. Couldn't quite work out who that was. But here they go, down towards hairpin here for the second time at 29 laps. Stevens there, holding the gap to Maguire nicely. And so in that sort of position, it's going to be difficult for Maguire to gain slipstream and pass into turn 1. So I think if you've got that kind of gap, maybe 6, 7 tenths, you should be safe going into the braking zone here, unless you are very brave on the brakes and try and scare the guy ahead of you out of the way. As there we are, 3 wide there in the background there. I can see another car getting involved there as well. I think that was with De Vries and Rob there. I saw the because here is Sven De Vries involved with P10. It's a big battle ahead. I think it's with Crop Bickers as well. And to say any fighting like that with between sort of 2, 3 or even 4 cars, you know, it's going to slow them all down. There it is ahead. It looks like I think it's Riboli now we're on board with. Sorry, just switch the camera. He is fighting Loic Meunier here, and he could have a run here going to turn 1. Is he going to try and go inside, outside? Where's he going to go? It looks like Meunier is going to hold the middle of the road. Riboli's going to take the opportunity to go down the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? Meunier trying to hold it around the outside. Can't quite do it. He holds position and stays in that P11 there as well. See Riboli trying to follow his teammate up through the field, gain positions there. Meunier as well. I remember the Team Irish team in Austria had a very low downforce setup on their car. They might have something similar going on here today to help them maintain or gain positions here as well. So you got a yellow flag in set 2. It looks like Remco De Zeo. Alex Hallows has retired from the race already. It's a common theme for him this season, it seems to be. There he's retired and out of the race. There, I think people like Court as well was run into trouble. Yativ and Anastopoulos and Dizay there miles down the order as well. So they've had issues. We've got Leho and Ruart battling for P8. I can see there as well. Stevens out in front, half a second ahead of Maguire, who's in turn 4/10 ahead of Brewer, and half a second ahead of Butcher. Sorry, 8/10, and then half a second ahead of Butcher there. And the top 4 sort of breaking away from the likes of Krop, Bickers, Skehode and Leho. And Court is in the pits. He must have had damage from an incident, maybe involved with Hallows actually. To be fair, they were pretty together on track. Ryan Elliott there, 21st, so he's made up some positions from the start already here. As I said, Luke Maguire there, fastest lap of the race, a 47.8. We know they're going to go quite a bit quicker than that, as we saw from qualifying. Obviously, they carried a lot more fuel than it was about 10-15 minutes ago. As we're looking at Gehode there, a very wide running. Is that running wide there? Is that Leho actually there? No, I can't quite recognise that. Is that Crop actually? It must be Crop. He ran a little bit wide into turn 1. There he is indeed. He's now defending. You can't see him too well, but he is defending now from Gehode, who's behind him right in his gearbox. Bickers has got past Crop actually as well in that. Stacks it up to 5th position. All with Crop there. A bit squirrely at the brakes and at the power there. They're getting a little bit of slipstream from the Sachs car ahead, but it won't be too much. And you can see he's already covering a little bit there to the left. Has he got a car glued on his gearbox? I don't think he has, because there's a couple of tenths gap between himself and Gerhard as they cross the line. But he holds up and hits the apex, holds position nicely. Back up front, Stephen 6 tenths ahead of Maguire, half a second ahead of Brewer as well. And 4 tenths ahead of Butcher, so no one's really that close, but the top 4 have definitely broken away here from this battle for 5th and 6th and onwards down the field. There's a mover and shakers there at about 13th, 14th, 15th, so I see Clont, Sonneveld and Singleton. Big old battle down there. Go down the field. Now we're looking at Stefan Rilt now in P9. He's right behind Alex Laho, the Frenchman. Look at that, all fighting away in the mid-pack there for Brit. Of course, that P12, the magic number for a first grid pole, where they're already lapping cars in the pack, it looks like. Butcher here, look at these 4 now welded together there. Something must have happened between the start. We're now seeing the timing now, the actual sort of gaps down the field. So it's 1.5 seconds now covering the top 4. Which looks like he's dropped back a little bit there since the first corner. All this sort of slipstream fest. Maybe these 4 are kind of working together to break away from the rest of the field, but you've got the Nocturne, the THR, the Stacks, and then the THR car again. There's Kropp and Gerhard are slogging it out there for 6th position, I can see. There as well, Gerhard. And they've broken away a bit from Leho as well. And the yellow flag in sector 2, it looks like it's Kenneth Singleton has had a problem. He's retired from the race as well. I suspect he might have hit the wall coming out of sector 2, just about where he was on track. So we've got Luca Tassano and High Sonneveld also in the pits. That must be like front wing damage or such and such fourth there as well. So their races have been ruined. It won't be long then until these front running cars may start running into traffic. We're already on lap 9, so we're already a third way through the race. Of course, Butcher there looking to tag on to the front 3 cars here. Stephen's still leading, of course, but look at Maguire, he's getting closer now. Maguire's not worried about championship implications as well. He wants to get the win as much as anyone else does. And look at Maguire trying to hold it around the outside, locks up a front brake while doing so, tries to tuck back in, manages to do so, holds Brewer behind him as they run into turns. I call this turn 2 and 3 anyway. That's what I'm going to do for the broadcast. Don't really count the kinks, to be honest, you know. It's just flat out bits. Oh, as Butcher hits the wall on exit there. So there's the 3 retirements. Singleton, Court and Hallows have retired. High Sonneveld a lap down already from this race. So if you pit, you're pretty much a lap down and your race is ruined. It looks like Tassano also a lap down. Looking down, further down the order I'm seeing there. Kropp, Gerhard, Laho, Rill and De Vries running at the top 10 there, and a big old scrap from like Menno Clont downwards. Looks like Clont's holding up a bit of a train of cars in 13th position. Branton, Sellers and Viestra, Ryan Elliott. I wouldn't mind seeing that battle in a few moments time, because that looks really tasty. Here is one of those cars, it looks like. It's that Ryan Elliott coming up through the field. It must be 17th position. Oh, look at that, sticking his nose in there. Was that Stanford Estra there with Bradley Sellers? Actually, Sellers there moving that position here. He's moved it from quite far back in the grid as well, up to 14th already. So really good progress there from Bradley. Back up front. There we go. Oh, we're going back to Gail Branton now. P15 on his controller, of course, or the Mode Auto Concepts team. There's a dive down the inside there. That's Viestra moving around. There it is. Look at that, going Branton with the expertly manoeuvred cutback, and Ryan Elliott is going to get involved here as well. Got slipstream already. Both have. Brown's really covering the inside already. That's probably the sensible move. And look at that, could be 3 wide going into the corner. Look at that, Ryan Elliott sticking his nose in. Oh, they're trying to position themselves. Elliott, look at that down the inside. He could take both of them. No, he can't. He can't get the power on, sadly. They hold position after all that, which is quite something, because that looks like something's definitely going to happen there. But all survive, all maintain the position. Branton there trying to get the power on nicely out of the corner. Max Kropp is dropping back through the field. He's down to 8th position. Gerhard's gone past. Laho's gone past. He's now going to have Stefan Rotler behind. Oh, is that a lunge? Ryan Elliott? Yes, it is. And contact as well. Contact with just the right left, the rear left corner of Georg Brenson's car there. Stanford Estra now trying to take advantage of the move, trying to repay the favour on Ryan Elliott. It's just a tremendous scrap. Oh, and there's a late on the brakes and contact there. Was that Vincent Gutt into the back of Ryan Elliott there? I think that was. I was pretty sure it was anyway. It was that Dean Vella. Can't quite work that out. I think it was Vincent Gutt. Yeah, it was Vincent Gutt that touched the back. It looked like. Maybe Moritz Krop down to 11. So much happened to Moritz Krop because he's down now past behind Rock, behind De Vries, behind Meunier as well. So something's happened here with Moritz Krop. He's dropped 5 positions in the space of about a lap. So I think there's been incidents there. Krop now trying to recover those lost positions now, and he's going to get alongside Meunier and get the move done. Nicely done there from the German. Back into that top 10. As well, Sven De Vries is next target up the road, and you can see they're all battling ahead here for this 7th position. Leho, on the front of the train. Back up front, I'm just looking at the top 4, no changes, they're not really too close, so this is a good scrap to look at for the time being. Halfway through the race now actually, lap 15 has just commenced. An action-packed event here at Norisring in these early stages, but not too much carnage, which is good to see. Everyone's sort of keeping clean for the time being. Not too much. Oh, is that a defence there from Leho? Yes, it is. Gets a bit of a squirrel on. Is that going to be Gerhard back to 6? No, it's not. Leho holds. Sorry, roll up into position, but it's not. It's going to be Leho who holds position. He keeps stepping up behind him. Look at that. You would not want to see Roald, De Vries, and Krop in there like that. It is quite intimidating to say the least, because they're all really good drivers as well. All can definitely make a move without too much problems if the opportunity presents itself. On board now with Sven De Vries. Look at that. Rock trying to go one side, just keeping an eye in the mirror. Rock there now on board. We're just looking from a spectator's point of view, you could say. Rock's got the ringside seat. Oh, De Vries is going for it. Oh, there's Leho's outbroke himself there completely. Maybe a lock up on the front left tyre. But Rock has gone past up in the 7th position. You can see there the movers and gainers there. Branson up to 6. Sellers and Meunier at 5 positions from the start. So Yatif up 9 places from the back of the grid. Oh, Leho's made a mistake. He's hit mid mistake there as well. Down into 10. And just one mistake round here, so costly. As well as Maguire's made an error. Maguire's down to 5th. He must have made a similar error out on the circuit. Down to 5th position. I reckon there might have been it's got to be some kind of mistake or incident on track. But Maguire now trying to make up time. You can see the gap ahead. I suspect Maguire's had a spin, and Bickers has got involved obviously as well, because he's now fighting Luke Maguire. But now the front 2, Stevens, Brewer 1 second, then Butcher 3.1 behind the leader there, and then Bickers and Maguire. So it's almost like Butcher's now like in no man's land, and the top and tailing drivers are having a good old scrap. Therefore, position Stevens still holding on in that P1 on lap 17. And then top 12 at the moment, Menno Klonter's got that reverse grip pole position ahead of, or just behind his good friend, I should say just behind his good friend, De Vries. De Vries, who's ahead of his team owner and team boss, Riboli now. De Vries obviously looking to regain some lost ground in his first money. Look at that, up 7 places. Branson as well. Leho's the big loser in this race, down 11 positions from the start. So a couple of small mistakes really does ruin your race around here at the Norisring. Lap 18 now. I'm looking down the road as the A1 car moves out of the way there. Not a good event at all so far for a lot of these drivers, either DNFs or a couple of lap cars out there, but still they plough on. And you can see there now, there is Luke Maguire looking to get back and gain time back now from Bickers, who've got past Luke Maguire actually as well. So Maguire now down to 5th place. Yeah, and Morris Crop actually making up positions as well, because he's now P8. He was P10 a few moments ago. Ryan Elliott down in 14th. So I suspect there's been some instance there, because a few gaps appearing here and there. But here's the lead battle. Here's Tom Stevens now going around that hairpin once again. Brewer catching up to the back of Tom Stevens as well. 7/10 the gap it was. What's it going to be as we cross the line? I expect a little bit closer. There it is, just under 7/10 now. So it's these two basically now for the win. Now championship implications, of course. Obviously, if Stevens wins, that's it. Title's in the bag. So he doesn't even have to win this race to gain the title. He could let Brewer go and not be affected at all. But he wants to win this race. Every driver who's a quick driver wants to win a race, no doubt about it. That's the competitive nature of the beast in a lot of these people, a lot of these guys. Gap sort of maintaining the same, but it only takes 1%, particularly out under power. Get a little bit of a slide on, lose a tenth or two, and a long straight like this, and then the slipstream kicks in, and then you're in big trouble there. You've got to really look in the mirror, but gap maintaining about the same. Brewer gaining a little advantage with slipstream, of course. Gap now just get about half a tenth that lap. They're both pulling away from Chris Butcher in third position. Bickers and Maguire. I think Bickers has pulled a gap on Maguire there as well, so they're kind of separated out. The only real closest battle is probably this one up front. Probably around the sort of 11th place mark, as Clont has got ahead of Raboli now. Raboli down to 12th. As I say that, Raboli gets the position back again, so them two scrapping away, and Clont gets it back again. Oh, come on guys, make your mind up. Who wants the ahead of who? Here we go, but the Power Sports there, Carmen O'Clock. Valley Sports, of course, for Raboli. Bradley Sellers as well, catching up. He's had a really good race actually so far. He's made up a lot of places, a lot of time up as well, and could be in line here for a reverse grid pole beneficiary if anything happens here as well. I just see, I think Sven de Vries moving past a lapped runner there. Here comes Raboli. He's got slipstream on Menno Clont, of course. He's definitely closing up here on the champion. Oh, look at this Clont there. He's not wanting to give up that position easily. There's a sharp chop to the left, but it does him no favours whatsoever as he makes the mistake, and Raboli goes past him up into 11th place. It also goes to show the level of quality or how much the series has moved on since last season. Obviously Clont being the champion last year, and with respect to him, nowhere near the running in this championship at all. You know, a lot of fast people have joined the series and really shook things up as well. Raboli there locks up. Clont there goes back past him, and they're going to have slipstream again down this straight as Raboli's going to gain that. I wonder if Bradley Sellers is in position. Well, he isn't too far back, is he? Look at this. You've got Raboli here, moving up into the right hand side. Clont now taking that line on the left again. Let's hope he doesn't make a mess of it this time. He doesn't. But is Raboli going to drive around the outside of him anyway? Yes, he does. That's great stuff from these two. And Sellers now trying to make his own move, but no, he can't do it. Raboli locks up. Sellers gets nice and close to the wall there, takes a good line into it. That's the sort of race that happens around here. It's very much give and take, you know. Don't want to hold each other up too much. But that's exactly what happens around here. Monier's still one of the biggest gainers there, with 7th place is gained. Oh, and sideways, Clont's made the mistake. Clont's made the mistake there. He's spun around. He's actually recovered it, but he's going to lose 2 places in the meantime. Oh, he does the old wheel bang there to not lose too much time there. Is that going to be Ryan Elliott? Yes, it is. In the Epic Racing car. They're now side by side. Going to turn one again. It's the 3rd lap in the road that Menno's had to take up this position, and twice before he's lost out. Is it going to be 3rd time? No, it looks like he's managed to defend it this time nicely there as well. Back up front, Brewer's catching up. He's just under half a second now between the leading pair as well, but we're still on board now here with the rapid Ryan Elliott. And 14th place. He's had a good recovery drive from his pit lane start. Makes you wonder what he could have done from his normal grip position. Here he goes again. Obviously, Menno not really going to gain anything from the car ahead, I don't think. So it's going to be all the benefit here to Ryan Elliott. He gets the slipstream again. Oh, as he tucks. Don't know what happened there. Looks like he slowed down tactically. I'm not sure whether that was the case, or maybe he had a little bit of a problem there with his throttle pedal, but did not take the opportunity. And everyone's now starts to better as we now will have 4 laps to go this time round. There's traffic ahead. This is going to be a big thing actually in the later stages of both of these races. I think this traffic is going to be the key. You can see there's a car ahead there as well. Looks like one of the, not quite sure that is actually. I just noticed that Dean Feller's retired from this race. But Dan Brewer there. The gap's still around the same, around sort of half a second, 6/10 part. There it is. The exact figure you can see on your screen right now. They go through that chicane once again. But Brewer can't really seem to gain enough consistently to make a challenge or a proper fight for the lead here with Tom Stevens. It's almost like he's just waiting for a mistake on Stevens' part here, or maybe traffic to hold up Stevens in the right moment so he can slip past as well. Again, no real tight fighting there, but it looks like that battle between Raboli, Elliott and Clont has settled down now. Raboli now in that P12. Was Stevens there? Look at that. Brewer gets a good line out of the corner there. Butcher's actually closing up on these guys as well. The gap was about 3 seconds, I think, at one stage, now down to 1.8. So if these guys start really give tight battling, Butcher's going to close up on these guys. Oh, there's a spin up. There's a spinner in the wall. I can't quite work out who that is, I'll be honest. I think it may... Is that Tazzano? Not quite sure who that was, actually, but... whoever that is will be seeing him in the pits any time shortly, because there's the front wing gone off the car, so we'll see them in the pits any time in the next sort of 30 seconds or so. But this is Luke Meunier now. He's trying to get ahead of Moritz Kropp now, as we're now on the penultimate lap of this race, and it looks like Stevens and Brewer are fighting for position here. Yes, they are. Look at this. I think Brewer went for attack into turn 1 and Stevens managed to defend it. But this is getting spicy now. Very spicy. That's the closest Brewer's been to making a charge here for the victory. I think Butcher's going to be properly open. You know, come on, take each other out. Let's make this championship battle go into the final race of the season. Come on, guys. But no, let's see some good racing here, as we see now. This is going to be the start of the final lap of this race. As Remco Tizea retired up, that must be who was in the wall earlier. So Remco DNF in the late stages of this race. Brewer going around the outside, can't do it. Stevens manfully holds onto that position there, really rubbing wheels and everything. Yeah, Brewer going deep. Yeah, oh, he's got the slide on there. That's going to be it. That's going to be it there. That little slide, that little mistake's going to cost Brewer a chance of making a move into this final corner. So it looks like it's going to be Stevens' victory. And they get under power nicely there. It is, and it's going to be not only the race victory for Tom Stevens, but it's going to be the GPU Formula 3 European Series 2022 Championship for Tom Stevens there. Led from start to finish. A brilliant season's work there for Tom Stevens. He can relax. He can celebrate. He's got the title in the bag. He has got the grand prize here this series, and a very deserving champion as well. Tom Stevens has been absolutely brilliant, and he's got the title, and he's held on here from Brewer and Butcher as well. Bickers 4th, Maguire 5th, Gerhardt 6th, Rowan 7th, Kropp in 8th, Meunier 9th, De Vries rounding out the top 10. Ryan Elliott is going to be on reverse grid pole. Sellers there in another place as well. Meadow Clont 13th, Raboli 14th, Branton 15th, Lestra 16th, Gut, Laho, Yativ and Miram are going to round out the top 20 positions there. We'll see the final confirmation of the standings in a few moments' time. But yeah, Tom Stevens there. There it is. There's the spin. There's the donuts. That's what we ordered. Some Krispy Kremes there from Mr. Stevens. That's what we want. Look at that. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. You know, always under pressure from THR. Always under pressure as well from Kropp at times as well. And the Stacks driver as well, Brewer and Bickers. And he's come out and beaten them all. and that's his first championship on our Factor 2 as well. That's going to be a big confidence boost for him going forward into 2022, the main season, of course. Well done to him. And I'll say he can now have a load of fun now in his final race. Don't matter. I'm the champ. He's going to say. I own this series. I own this championship. And that is the results there. You can see there for you. So Stevenson, Brewer from Butcher. And with that, I think as well, Butcher will, believe, confirm his second place in the team in the Drivers' Championship. I'll do the maths in a bit. Vickers, Maguire, Gelhode, Ruel, Krop, Meunier, and De Vries rounding out the top 10 for Valley Esports there as well. Mazumda there, good result, 6th and 7th as well. That's going to help up their championship position or maintain their championship standing. Bradley Sellers there, getting some P11, Ryan Elliott in 12th, Clont, Riboli, Branton, Balestra, Gut, Laho, Yativ, and Miram there rounding up the top 20. And then the last fallers and runners and riders at the back of the grid there. Tisano, Sonovout and Anastopoulos, and there's the DNF there to Zeu, Vela, Singleton, Court, and Alex Hallows there with the early retirement there for him to round at the top 28 runners there. That was race 1. We're going to have more of that in a few minutes' time. If you just give us about 5 minutes, we're going to have a nice break, a refresh as well. But we'll see in a few minutes for more in race 2. We'll see in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Let's say warm-up is now finished. I think as well, I'll just go through the warm-up results. Therefore, it was 2 THRs at the top, Butcher from Maguire, then Crop, Gelhode and Laho, rounding out the top five there. I want you all to listen up, alright? Not being funny now, but I want all your attention. I want you all in the YouTube chat to name your best, funniest, most memorable moment of the season. Don't care what, don't care, no opinions at all, but whatever your favourite moment of the season, put it in the chat, and hopefully my memory remembers it as well. But it has been some pretty good moments on the circuit, some really good racing, some comical moments, some poor driving at times as well, but on the large majority, it's been really, really good close racing out there as well. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in over the course of the season. I think it's been a really good little championship, a great start to our Factor 2 competition, at least in 2022. There we are as well. Also, again, a big thanks to Sadler Computers for hosting all the servers throughout this whole championship, and also 3D Wrap as well for giving out the discount codes and prizes for this season. But there, warm-up is done. You can tell by the blue skies. It's all done. They are just gridding up now. The top 12 from the first race is now reversed. So you should see on the pole position Ryan Elliott for Epic Racing, going to be starting from the pole. And you're going to have Sellers and De Vries up there. That's going to be a very, very interesting dynamic. Who is going to get away well? Are they going to pull away from the rest of the field, build a gap, or are they going to just slug it out? Wheels banging, front wings flying, anything can happen, obviously, as well. And hopefully this time Ryan Elliott does join the grid, which he does. There is no safety car, don't worry. It's just a little misinformation there on our screen, but there it is back on the broadcast now. 29 laps to come up, but obviously first of all we got the formation lap to go through for the final time in the championship, at least after 6 hard rounds of racing. This is race number 12, of course. We've got Ryan Elliott from Bradley Sellers, from Sven De Vries, from Mike Meunier, from Moritz Cropt, from Rualt, from Gelhode, from Luke Maguire. And then we've got Lewis Bickers, Chris Butcher there, Dabra, and the new champion, Tom Stevens, there for Nocturne as well. And you've got Menno Clont, Massimiliano Riboli, Guillaume Branton, and Stan Valestra. I hope I've not butchered his name too much this season. That would be quite embarrassing. I've always said it the same way, but who knows. Vincent Gutt, Alex Laho, Itamar Yativ, and Perisus Miram. And then we've got Luca Tosano, Kai Sonovaut, Nikos Anastopoulos, Renko Dezu, rounding out top 24. And then we've got 4 cars at the back of the field. No, we don't. We've only got 2. Just 2's pulled out. Kenneth Singleton and Milan Court there. So it's only 26 cars this time who's going to race. A little bit less traffic on the track. And this is going to be quite an interesting race for many reasons. Obviously, you've also got the fast cars coming from mid-pack. You've got Ryan Elliott and De Vries coming through. Bradley Sellers as well. We know he's had a good round in Austria, for example, earlier this season. We know he can race, and he's in his race 2. So we'll see what happens there. But now just waiting for the 5 lights to appear on the big board ahead. There we go. There's all the red lights. Green, 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 and we are away for the final time in the championship. And it looks like a poor start for one of Mazuma cars there as well, dropping back through the field. But it looks like Ryan Elliott's in a whole position going into turn 1. He does indeed. Sellers trying to pass around the outside. Looks like is there a bit of a break in the traffic there? Did I see the car off, or was that just my imagination? There's a car who didn't move at all in that front wing. Oh, what's going on? Someone's had a disastrous start as well. Oh, and a wiggle there from one of the Team Iris cars. They gathered it all together. Going through there, I think that might have been Laho. No, Meunier that was. P6 that was there. Meunier with a little bit of a slide, but they all get through. Turn 1 as well for the first time in this second race. And across the line for the first time, Valiant holds the lead from Sellers, from De Vries. From Krop, Gelhode, Meunier, Butcher, Bickers, Raboli, Fiestra, and Tom Stevens had a bit of a rough start there. The champion down in 15th position as well. I feel if someone else is missing that as well, I could be wrong. Brewer, that's it, Brewer. So Brewer and Stevens have had some kind of incident, I think, because they was on the front 11th and 12th. They're now for about 15th and 16th. We've got cars moving around. Bickers is dropping down the order. He's right down the order. He's had a crash. He's had a crash somewhere, 19th. And there it is, rear wing gone for Lewis Bickers. Race ruined and pulling over for the side of the track. That is going to be a retirement there for Lewis Bickers. A horrible way to end the season there. I have no idea what happened. I didn't quite see what happened on stream there, sadly. It's starting to replay functions here this evening even, unfortunately. Renko Dzeo also in the pits. He must have been the one with the front wing gone, literally just after the start finish line. So something really poor happened there to him. Brewer's out as well. So both of the Stax cars out before lap 2, or the end of lap 2 there as well. That is a really poor way for Stax season, but they've been really, really good this season as well, picking up obviously the race win last time out in Zandvoort and some really strong results along the way, but a sad way to end Stax's season there. Menno Klont also in the pits as well, but we're on board now with Meunier. He's got the two THR cars ahead of him. He's got Raboli as well trying to attack as well behind, but he holds position there in P8. He's trying to attack now. Going down straight here for the first time. Maguire is there. He's trying to attack and get past. Can't quite do it. There's a little bit of a hold up in traffic. There's Raboli. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike there for Raboli, but he gathers it all together. Oh, a little bit of a slide in turn 1 as well, but everything seems to be okay. But Ryan Elliott still leads lap 4 from Sellers, from De Vries, from Moritz Krop, from Gelhode, and then Butcher, Maguire, Meunier were on board with still in P8. In the opening laps as well, seems to be quite well settled. Obviously a couple of incidents, but we didn't quite see the results of those incidents or why they occurred. Just kind of happened in front of our eyes. Cesano's had a bit of a problem, it looks like, as well. P20. Is that more damage? No, it's not. It looks like it's just a spin for the Scuderia Freca car. He might have a slight problem actually with the suspension. We're not quite sure there by that shot. Hertho in P5. He's not messing about. He wants to get past Moritz Krop. He wants some more fighting like he did in the first race. Krop trying to hold it on round the outside, cuts across the Dutchman. Holds position there, 4th and 5th. Krop and Gelhode there. So it's been pretty impressive this season as well, like all sort of in the background of the main contenders for race wins, but always been really solid this season. I think quite a bright talent is Sven, and there gets a little bit of a slide on power there, but he's going to have slipstream on the young German ahead of him. Moritz Krop, who did take a race win earlier this season, of course. Here comes Sven now, looking to position his car in a place where he can make a move on Moritz Krop. He can't do it. Moritz Krop defends. Got Butcher attacking as well, the distinctive red helmet of Chris Butcher. And look at Ryan Elliott now, 1.5 seconds ahead already. Perfect opportunity for him to build the gap. And I saw him on the front row and I'm thinking to myself, he's got to be strong here for this race too. He knows how to pedal any sort of car in R-Factor 2. Really, really good driver. Someone I've raced with before, actually last year, and he's really, really quick as well. We got Sellers from De Vries, Krop, Gelhode, Butcher, Maguire, Meunier, Raboli and Brewer running at the top 10. Stevens recovered up to 11th position from Fiestra, Singleton, Sonneveld, Laho and Guillaume Branton. They're running at the top 16 cars. And we see, look at that, the standings there. Brewer and Bickers, Cesano all retired already from this race. Very early on indeed. Say the fields are spreading out quite a lot, but this battle here really intense, really tense actually. You got De Vries actually not too far ahead of these two cars as well, despite De Vries is backing up into this pack almost. Which Krop is leading. sort of attack on De Vries, and there it is. Look at that, Crop getting a pretty good line actually. Might benefit from a little bit of slipstream there from the Dutch American ahead. Been a little while since the De Vries race actually. He's, I think, moving location. He's got a brand new sim rig, upgraded all his equipment. And Moritz Crop there, look at that, looking for a cheeky little dive up the inside. The Grease Piglet there slipping his way down the side, but can't do it. De Vries maintains position. I think Crop now going to be under attack himself. Yes, he is, from Sven Gilbode, who holds it nicely on the outside and got the inside of the next corner. So Moritz's aggression of making the move cost him dearly there. He's lost the position instead of gaining one. Moritz now trying to kindle that time back. There's a little bit of a slide there. Oh, contact! Oh, Sven's done that himself. He got the slide, ran into his car, and look at that for a bit of parking. Sven Gilhode on the barrier, but he recovers it down in 12th, and look at the gap between the top 10 and the rest of the field. Something has happened in the middle of the pack there for that gap to develop, but unfortunately there for Sven Gilhode, a little tiny bit of oversteer under power into the side pod of Crop's car, ends up literally parking against the barrier, and that has put him down now to P12 and out of the points. The beneficiaries there, you got the likes of Munier, Raboli, Ruel, Stevens there. Stevens back into top 10 and for Leicester as well. Moving up into DNF there as well, I just saw on the page. Who was that? It's that Kenneth Singleton has now also retired from the race. So that's 4 already. Dropping like flies. There's a little bit of oversteer there. It looks like there. Is that... excuse me, catching a breath there. I think that's Stefan Ruel ahead. We're on board with Tom Stevens, of course, there with that distinctive British helmet. And Ruel now attacking Raboli as they go into turn 1. The Formula 3 cars, Dallara cars have been really, really good fun. There's a little bit of wheel banging there, I think. And Stevens is not going to turn down an opportunity like that to get past. He's up into 9th position as Raboli has to take a late apex, a late turn in to the corner. Sayo and Clont are lapped down, so they've had incidents as well. You'll just see as well, Miram, I think, has also passed down Stapoulos as well for 19th place on circuit, but the gap up in front, Brian Elliott, 2.5 seconds as well. He's just packed his bags and left. He's just cleared off into the distance. See you next week, boys. Or see you on the podium at least. Sellers, De Vries, Crop, everyone sort of spread out a little bit, but when you get a bit further back into this pack, Ruel, Stevens, ahead of us actually, because we're on board with Massimiliano Raboli. And here's the battle we've got here. Is that Butcher on Crop? As we turn into this sort of fiddly little chicane. So it's De Vries just in front of us in that bright yellow epic car. We've got Crop directly ahead of us, and we're on board with Chris Butcher now. He's going into the hairpin once again. Butcher not going to take the opportunity to make the move. I think he moved us up there, to be honest. He could have maybe stuck a nose up inside and sliver his way past, but didn't take the opportunity. Rather maybe try this opportunity, the main overtaking position on the track. Crop's gaining slipstream actually from De Vries ahead. Always looking. No, De Vries covers. I think Crop's going to get a bit of oversteer and a slide on. He does indeed. He actually gains traction now on the exit though, so gets away with it. Butcher there. Position himself to try and get, because a little bit of a slide there, a little bit of one of those horrible 4-wheel slides you can't do anything about. He just recovered it in time. It's not really lose anything. He's going to, Butcher himself's going to have his teammate Luke Maguire behind him as well. The 2 THR cars that they have so many times in the past together on circuit. And we're on lap number 12 now of this race. Lap 13 commences, and Elliott now, you might as well say, job done. Done what he's had to do to build the gap. He can now relax, negotiate his way past traffic if he has to. De Vries there defending again. Rob's hit De Vries there, I've noticed there, as he couldn't stop the car. It's now going to be 3 wide almost there. No, it isn't. But I think De Vries may hold the position. He's going to hold position. We're just not going to go for it. Let's find out. And Crop's going to go around the outside. De Vries is holding the speed on the outside there as well. They're still going to be side by side. Up the hill, yes, Crop's got the speed. Crop has got the exit and the speed there and positioned himself on the inside here of the hairpin. No, he can't. And they're still side by side, unbelievably. De Vries holds on the outside. And the two THR like sharks, trying to snap up on anything that's in front of them, take opportunity to get past them. Look at this. The Freezes are always notoriously hard man to pass. Butcher's now trying to round the outside. Crop's gone far too deep. And both THRs have gone past, so Crop there, I think, not strategically being patient enough there to hold on to think about it and maybe go for another time. The Freezes a hard charger, we know that. Crop's gone for 2 moves, both times he's lost position, so they've gained 1 there, so maybe take that further forward into this race. We're nearly halfway through now of this race. Now looking at the mode card, I believe this is Guillaume Brunton. It is. Axel Ho is right ahead of him, of course. This is the battle for 14th. We've got Vincent Gutt behind us with Yativ as well, fighting away with Court as well behind them as well. So good little scrap here for the lesser positions, but still hardly fought nevertheless. They're not really in a striking position there to gain anything here. Well, with Vincent Gutt in the VMS Sun Edits racing cars, where Bowley's locked up. Bowley's locked up. He's lost 1 position there. He's lost that to Valestra. So Valestra in the top 10. The Bowley's done that a few times now. I've noticed that little lock up into 1. Yellow, sector 3 yellow flag. Quite sure what's happened there. One seems to be tumbling down the order. Oh, by the way, Tom Stevens up to 8th. He's recovered really nicely off that poor start. Down to 15th or 16th. He's moved his way up to 8th position. There, Meunier's actually fighting. Meunier's actually just got past him as well. There's a car in the pit. Is that Clot again? Yes, it is. So that's his 2nd time in the pits, I believe. Don't know what's happened there, but he must have been the one that caused the yellow flag in sector 3. But look at this Butcher now trying to take on Sven Vries. These two old war horses there. They've fought each other plenty of times before. They know what it's all about. They know what they're like, driving against each other. Butcher trying to go down the inside, can't do it. De Vries fights back, holds position. Butcher trying to drive out the corner. And they ain't got no pressure behind them, so they can sort of go all out and not worry about losing position necessarily. So people behind. Butcher there trying to be patient. Gets a mistake out of De Vries. De Vries gets the slide on, gets the power on later in the corner. And then now side by side, Butcher looks like he's in a good position here to at least challenge for the corner. Looks up behind as well, you got Crop. Is that Crop fighting? Maguire, yes it is. And Butcher there, looks like he's going to get position. And he does gain it. Maguire locks up a little bit as well. Crop trying to get the place back. You've also got Tom Stevens tag along as well. What a great drive this is from Stevens, actually, from the troubles he had at the start. He's just closing all these guys and putting them under pressure. Still out in front, Elliott 3.6 seconds ahead of Sellers, who in turn has pulled away from this lot, all their fighting and stuff. Sellers has basically confirmed that P2 all to himself for the time being, with what, about 11-12 laps to go, so lap 18 of 29 starts. Looking at the Citroën car leaving the pits there, looks like one of the Team Iris cars, that's Ruel. Oh, actually, no, Meunier that was. Ruel's also been in the pits as well, so he's had troubles in this race. A lot of cars having incidents and spins and stuff. And speaking of spins, Moritz Crop there almost losing the back end totally under power. But look at the gap there. Ryan Elliott, he's got a postcodes gap between him and Sellers. Doesn't have to worry about a thing. Just has to get around the circuit, not make any errors, negotiate the traffic and job done. And he's come in to be fair, he's sort of come in and done the job that I think Epic would have wanted from him, actually. Maybe not benefit necessarily from race 1, but race 2, take the opportunities and maybe get a great result, which is in line to do. Is Stevens now on his teammate. Perhaps been a little bit rough around the edges in this second race. He's made some moves that have not paid off. He's lost time. Even on Maguire, he's now going to lose position there. So his teammate Tom Stevens as well. And they are oversteer again there from Moritz Crop as well on the exit there, sadly. Gets it back together. He's got Valestra now, who's had a brilliant race himself. 8 positions from Stan Valestra. Sonoval as well, up 11. Paul up 10. Butcher up 7. He's been absolutely outstanding performances here in the second race. Obviously, a few people there, like Bickerson, Brewer, and Ruel have suffered and retired, but don't take away from any of these guys making progress that way through the field. They've been absolutely outstanding performances here in this race too. With 10 laps to go, of course, now as Ryan crosses the line. Again, nearly 4 seconds ahead. Bradley Sellers. Butcher has got away from De Vries, and Butcher is now closing up on Bradley Sellers as well. So gap there now 2.3 seconds as they went across the line. But now with Guillaume Branton in 13th, he has got Leho still ahead of him. I think he's going to let Leho run deep into the corner there and makes an error. Side by side, of course, now into the corner. Looking at Leho on the bumps there, horrible little bumps into that corner, and he's going to lose position. Branton there gains the position up into 12th place. Vincent Gutt there we're now looking at now 16th. He's not really in any sort of battle sadly though, but he might be keeping on the two ahead of him. That is Court and Yativ, and they're side by side into the corner actually as well. Looks like Court's going to gain a position, and indeed he does. Now Alex Leho, P12, oh sorry P13, he's looking at 12th position Branson, but he's not in no position really to gain anything unless Branson makes an error, which looking at this corner early throughout both races so far, that's not out of the question. You know, a lot of people made errors into there. Yativ there makes a move, it looks like, on Court. There he is, gains the place up into 14th. Looking at the gaps there, it looks like they're spreading out a little bit. Oh, there's a spin, there's the contact. What is going on there? Is that the two teammates hitting each? Yeah, it is. The two teammates, Gutt and Court, hitting each other on the exit there of the corner. I think after Gutt makes this, Court made the slide, Gutt had nowhere to go but into him, but they both recovered, somehow not making any real serious damage, but they both recovered and kept their positions. Here's Ryan Elliott now lapping. Is that Menno Klontz? I believe it is. I believe that is Menno Klontz he's lapping there actually. Again, miles ahead, 3.8 seconds ahead of Sellers. Butcher is closing. Butcher is closing to Sellers. The gap now 1.6. It was about 3 seconds earlier, I believe, as well. So Butcher, if he can negotiate the traffic, could be in a seriously good position here to close. There it is, gap now 1.5. And there's movement there. And Moritz Krop's had a spin. He's down to 11th position. He's had a spin on the exit of the final corner, which has been a very unpolished performance here from Krop. He has made a few errors, a few misjudgment calls as well, I'd say. Not been ideal for him. At P11 he's just outside the points, but he's going to close up on likes of Sonneveld, Riboli and Valestra ahead of him now. Back on board now of Alex Leho in 13th position. Oh, and he nearly hits the wall there, but actually just gets it right. Just about, maybe scrape the paint off the wheel or the tyre, but stays in 13th. Just running through the order quickly. Top 10: Elliott, Sellers, Butcher, De Vries, Maguire, Stevens, Gahode, Valestra, Riboli, High Sonneveld running at the top 10. He'd be happy with a point actually. Sonneveld, he's had a bit of a rough event, but gets a point out of it. Be quite happy. Unless the points run down to the top 10 in this championship. A lot of people sort of spread out a little bit. Like 8/10 seems to be like the closest gap between a lot of the cars. We're looking at Court there, who's quite close up to his teammate, but don't really expect too many fireworks from these two. Then again, they hit each other a couple of laps ago, so don't rule anything out. Good to see newcomers into the championship like Milan Court as well. Obviously we've had Vincent Gutt enter recently as well. So it's great to see new faces entering and showing interest in the series as well. Philip keeping the grids nice and full. We'll hope to see some of you guys in 2 weeks' time around the streets of Macau for the special event. That'd be a cracking little way to finish off the series. The championship, of course, ends tonight. But I'm back on board now with Chris Butcher. He's still closing up on Bradley Sellers. The gap now 1.2, so it's consistently 2 or 3 tenths a lap at the moment. Into the corner nicely, gets a good apex there. He's going to get a little bit of slipstream, I think, off the car ahead, but not too much. He's also pulled away significantly from Sven De Vries. De Vries has not got that race pace to keep up with Butcher, and he's also got to have one eye on his mirror because Luke Maguire's about a second behind him as well. So all to play for in these final 4 laps, with Ryan Elliott comfortably out ahead. of this race. Race number 2 and the final race of the Championship Series for 2022. Any plans of events and series coming up, you'll let you know on social media, on the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram in due course, so always keep an eye out for that. Always little discussions and negotiations in the background of most of these communities. Let's plan to see what next adventure they'll go next. Look at that, high set about 13 places. 13, look at that, from 22nd up to 9th position. He's got ahead of Riboli, which is really good. And Bradley Sellers there, holding position there. The gap's now 7/10 of a second there. Between Sellers and Butcher. Butcher really close up. Now he's going to have slipstream as well. That gap might come closer and closer as well. And here comes Guillaume Branston and Lehoux again. Lehoux seems to have the position to retake the position that he lost to Branston earlier, but he's now got that back. Branston trying to get power on, couldn't quite do it. A little bit of a slide, and speaking of slides, look at that behind. I have a feeling that was Yativ, the little slide on then. Going through the chicane there as well, and Branston seems to have a pretty decent run. Can he make anything of it? No, he can't. Now he's going to hold position, try and get slipstream onto the main straight. Looks like, but a pretty good turn in there. Oh, Branston might be onto something here, because that was a pretty good entry and exit there from league owner and the Dutchman. And Branston's got the speed to get alongside Alex Lehoux with slipstream. And is he going to take the position? Maybe. Didn't cover the inside too well. I think Lehoux going to get it back. Oh, this is of course the penultimate lap of the race. Ryan Elliott will be 1 and a bit laps away from sealing the win, and he's now started his final lap. Ryan Elliott, car number 44. And he's got the gap with Bradley Sellers as well, so he can just cruise it home now. No need to rush or panic. Oh, Branson there parks the car on the apex of the corner unexpectedly. Lehoux did not expect that at all. And had a little bit of a slide there. Actually, that might give Yativ a bit of a motivation now to really push in his final lap. He's closing quite a bit of time there. And Ryan Elliott now half a lap to go now to take the checkered flag off this racing and secure Team Epic's first race of the season. In fact, there he is across the line of finish. Ryan Elliott takes the victory of this race 2 and final race of the championship. Ryan Elliott there taking the victory there, and comfortably so from Bradley says. Chris Butcher will round up the season with a podium. Sven de Vries in 4th, Maguire in 5th, Stevens in 6th, Lehoux 7th, Lestra 8th, Sonneveld 9th, Riboli taking the final point ahead of Moritz Kropp and Lehoux, Branson, Gutt and Yativ rounding out the top 15. And that is the championship. That is the series done. It's been stellar. It really has been. It's a really good performances out there from a number of drivers this season. Some surprises, some no real surprises as well. You could say, you could have made some predictions before the season started and been pretty bang on. But it's been fantastic, and for GPU, it's been a very, very successful series again. Some really good quality teams and drivers popping in. Everyone now doing. Could almost say mandatory donuts, you could say, as Ryan Elliott wants to get his donuts away. And there they are, made to order almost. But Epic will enjoy that victory very nicely, which not many teams have done this season in fairness. Yeah, it's, I say before tonight, I can actually tell you how many teams have won a race. Nocturne, THR, Stacks, Mode, and Valley Esports. They're the only 5 teams that take a victory before tonight. You can add Epic to that as well, who was 13th and 1 point on the board before tonight. They have added a load of points and will go ahead of Beyond Esports, who pulled out sadly of the series as well. So a much needed boost of points there for Epic Racing. There is the final standings of the championship. Congratulations there to everyone who's taken part this season for completing it. There's the top 20 there as well. You got likes of Court, Miran, Baralt. You had problems. Luc Meunier also had problems as well. Alistair Poulos there, around at the top 20. And see the final 6 drivers there. Dezeu, Clant, who had serious problems all the way throughout. And Singleton, Tazano, Brewer and Bickers, which is a big shame actually. They've been fantastic value all season for stacks. But sadly retired. Both cars retiring very early on in there as well. So we can now relax, guys. The season's over. But we will have some interviews in a few moments' time. As far as drivers are concerned, the likes of, it is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Stevens, Butcher, Brewer, Gelhode and Crop. Possibly, actually, Luke Maguire. I think Maguire is going to take at least P5 in a championship. So I'm gonna say now, Stevens, Butcher, Brewer, Gelhode and Maguire are going to take away prizes from this championship in the form of discount codes with our partner 3D Wrap, or in various values as well. So well done to them. Obviously, Tom Stevens is going to be partying the most tonight, probably, if it's not too late for him, with the championship as well. We are now going to bring in some interviews. I just want to first of all actually going to bring in Chris Butcher here this evening after a very, very good championship battle. You know, some great results here this evening as well. Yet again for Chris, the worst result of his season being a P5. 4 P5s, in fact. And he's going to take home second in the championship. Chris, another fine evening's work for you and THR. And I think with those results, pretty sure THR will confirm the team's championship as well, which you'd be happy to hear as a co-owner there. A great evening's work. Sadly not the title, Chris, but it was always a bit of a long shot situation, but great season's work nonetheless.
Yeah, thank you. Not too bad, and yeah, always knew that going into this round it'd be really, really difficult for the Drivers' Championship. I mean, realistically, I needed Tom to have a DNF or something like that. But yeah, thrilled to get the team's championship. It was a bit touch and go in that last race. I think it was a little bit frantic at times, but managed to keep my nose clean and sort of find my way through the carnage and yeah, help secure the team's championship alongside Luke.
That's it, and THR will be gaining a prize from GPU as well, so that's another one to add to the collection for THR as well. And some great fighting throughout both races for yourself. It was good to see you and your sparring partner from years gone by, Sven de Vries, as well on track. You coming on top of that one, of course. But you'll be pretty happy, nevertheless, and a good boost for your 2022 year as well, year to come.
Yeah, I think so. A bit disappointed to find out that my worst result was 5th, and I still didn't win the championship. So it just shows you how good and consistent Tom's been all season. So yeah, it's good to end on a high, and yeah, I mean, both ourselves and Nocturne looking really, really strong for the year ahead.
That's fine. Obviously, no announcements yet regarding what GPU is going to be doing in future series, but you want to come back, maybe gain it, hopefully overturn that 2 into a 1 and a title.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I think we probably will come back. We've been impressed with how well run things are. You know, as always, there's the odd little niggle. But yeah, for our first season, it's been good. Everybody's welcomed us, and we've had a lot of fun. So yeah, I think we'll definitely be back. Sadly, we probably won't be around for the Macau Grand Prix, but yeah, we'll definitely be back.
It's great to hear, Chris, and well done for the season's work, and hope to see you back here in a future series.
Thanks very much.
No worries at all. I think we're going to have 1 or 2 other people join us as well in the broadcast. But I did see Tom Stevens hovering about, but he seems to have disappeared briefly. I I'm just going to just thank everyone actually. Well, we've got a spare moment actually to all the admins, the broadcasters, disciplinary for all their hard work throughout these 6 rounds and before, social media and all that as well. So well done to all of you out there. I'm now going to bring in the champion for the 2022 championship in GPU Formula 3, Tom Stevens. Congratulations! It's been an outstanding season for you. Not only your consistency, but also the competition you was up against as well.
Yeah, thank you. It was a very tough season, and these races today were also very difficult, especially the second one. Yeah, quite chaotic.
Now, the one thing that stands out to me here, Tom, is you look at your race 1 record. 4 race wins in race 1 and 2 second places in race 1 as well. And we've touched on this before, that the race 1's always really key of having to building up for a great overall event as well. Say pole positions galore as well. So the outright speed obviously is there, but you've always seemed to have the upper hand on, just about the upper hand on everyone.
Well, yeah. Going for a good result in race 1 is always key because there's so many points for doing well that race 2 it sort of just becomes bonus points. So you want to get the points in the first race, but then fighting through the pack in race 2 isn't easy. It's really difficult too.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, because I noticed at the start of this race, didn't catch on camera, but I think you had a little bit of an incident. Was that? And I noticed Brewer also went down the order a little bit as well. Was that a coming together of any kind, or was just a bad start?
Well, it was just a ping pong down to turn 1 really. I think just off the line, I think someone got sandwiched between me and Brewer, and I was sideways along the straight, and then it carried on going, and then somehow just before turn 1 we were 4 wide. Someone's wheel clipped mine, and I was sideways again. The whole car was damaged. Luckily it was not too bad, and managed to continue. But yeah, it was quite a trip down to the first corner.
That's fair enough. You recovered, and it was a brilliant drive through the field as well to get more points on the board as well. But be proud of yourself, Tom. You've done excellently, and I say we'll hope to see you, fingers crossed, for the next round of GPU next season to defend your title.
Yes, and gotta say, this championship was not possible without all of the work behind the scenes with THR and Nocturne. It's not possible without all them lots. So thank you very much, guys.
They'll appreciate it, I'm sure. You take care, Tom. We'll see you next season.
All right, thank you.
And that'll be, it looks like, our last interviewee for the season. Obviously, 2 weeks' time, we go to Macau as well. Some people will be there. We hope, if you're watching this broadcast at home, that you'll be joining us, or at least passing on the message here and there to people. But that's in 2 weeks' time. Also a great event, Formula 3 around Macau. It's really good fun. Many thanks as well. I've got to say, you and Gail, sadly he's not here tonight, but he's been brilliant on comms as well. Heigo, Poom, Garrett DeFries on cameras throughout this series as well, and obviously Guillaume Branson, Lucas Asano, Dan Hutt as well for their work in running the whole series as well, which I've been really impressed by. It's been really, really good fun. I hope you've been impressed as well, the viewers at home, and we will see you hopefully in the near future here at GPU. I've been David Carter. It's been a pleasure commentating. We'll see you next season. Bye for now.